Hello and welcome to the Ukraine. We are now in the city of Chernivtsi, which lies at the foothills of the Carpathians and is the historical metropolis of the region of Bukovina. Chernivtsi is often called a crossroad of cultures, and it's no wonder. Thanks to its location, rich history, and its ethnic, linguistic and religious diversity, this city has long remained an environment where culture has thrived. Chernivtsi, between the world wars, was a place where influences of the West and East intertwined. The 20th century brought power reversals, and Chernivtsi found itself belonging to several different states in gradual succession. However, since 1991, it has been part of the Ukraine, and the city now has a population of just under 300,000. Well, this lovely city has hosted world-class sidecar motocross racing for many decades. The pinnacle of this, obviously, is the World Championship, and Chernivtsi welcomed its participants during the second stage of the calendar. And how it all turned out is the subject of this next report. Before that, let's go back 3 weeks ago in the Dutch city of Oldenbroek, where here marked the start of this year's Sidecar Motocross World Championship. And on the typically sandy track, the beginning of the season started off very hot indeed. Coming out ahead in the hugely packed competitive field were the local stars who really know how to race on this unique surface. The first championship points of 2017 went to 30 successful pairs from the qualification, and this was run in 2 races as usual. Making the best start of the new season was the Dutch-French crew Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, who won both of these point-scoring races. Bax and Mousset thus deservedly took the lead in the World Championship standings. The French-Latvian pair Valentin Giroux and Elvis Mucinex took second place, with third place going to the Swiss duo Andy Bergler and Martin Béchart. So that's how the season started. It began in Europe's west and moved to Europe's east last weekend. While the World Championship returned to the Ukraine after a hiatus lasting several years. That said, the track in Chernivtsi has hosted many World Championship races before, so let's go back and see what this iconic track looks like. These shots from free practice are when the riders and crews are just getting to know the track. The track in Chernivtsi is very fast and full of jumps, and they must be tried and tested while remembering all the possible pitfalls. Well, the lap measures just over 1,600 metres, and the fastest crews can run the last lap in just under 2 minutes. Well, the first challenge of the weekend for the riders and crews is timed practice. Well, a total of 23 crews passed technical scrutineering in the Ukraine, and this was not a lot compared to the first round in Holland. Nevertheless, almost none of the World Championship elite riders were missing. With a tightly contested championship this year, every point counts in the fight for the top positions. Here we see the British crews Stuart Brown and Joe Millard, who registered the 4th fastest time in timed practice. Valentin Giroux and Elvis Musinex, well, they came in over half a second faster than the British pair. The second place crew in this year's championship took third place in timed practice despite having troubles with their sidecar configuration. Main concern with the Husqvarna engine, Giroux not 100% satisfied with the performance. Despite this, Giroux only lost 0.2 of a second to his great rival Etienne Bax. The winner of the first round of the World Championships thus took second place in timed practice, ensuring that he'll be amongst one of the favourites here in qualifying. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Musset, the latter of whom, by the way, was once Valentin Giroux's passenger, got off to a good start here in Chernivtsi. The best time of all, however, was registered by the Dutch team bearing the 111 plate. That crew formed of Daniel Williamson and Robbie Bax. They crossed the line with a time of 1:50.231, which was half a second faster than the time of Etienne Bax and Nicolas Musset. But after timed practice, we caught up with Etienne Bax.
This is a complete different track than Oldenburg, of course. It's a hard-packed track. Also, it's involved a lot of traveling, so yeah, everybody is not exhausted, but it's different than normally. Yeah, the weather is good. The roads are much better here, and the track is super. The organization here wants to make it good, and it's good to be back after 4 years of cannot come because of, they say, war, but there is nothing wrong here, and it feels super good to be back. The track is super good. Yeah, it will be fast and good for the drivers today. I see that we were three persons with Giroux, Willemsen and us. We are with 3 persons in half of a second. So the speed is high and there's a lot of technique. But yeah, at the moment it's rolling good for us, and hopefully we can make a nice race. But for sure it will be a big fight.
Well, the third quickest time in timed practice belonged to the French-Latvian duo Valentin Giroux and Elvis Musinex.
Normally in the sand I'm not so fast than in Oldenburg, but I was also surprised there to drive so fast like that. Here it's a kind of track that I like, and normally it's better for me here on the hard track. And yeah, I like the track. It's for me not so technical, but I think we can expect some good results this weekend, and I hope. I think it's a fast track, and yeah, the three riders, the time is very close, and yeah, we don't have the good seating on the bike for the pre-quali. Then I think now we fix the bike for the race, and the time can be better. But we also need a good start for a good result.
Races in the Ukraine are a true favourite of the 10-time world champion, Holland's Daniel Williamson, and he was somewhat disappointed by the low turnout of crews here this year.
I believe many teams were a little bit afraid about border, maybe afraid about a situation, roads. Nothing of this all is any problem, because the roads are done. We have no difficult problems here. The border was absolutely no problem, and there is no reason to stay at home. It is a good Grand Prix. The organizer had a good, did good things, good organized, and no, it will be a good race. And it's just pity that there are not so many teams arrived here.
Well, the director of World Sidecar Motocross this year, Venezuelan Ralph Beaver, he confirmed too that there was no reason for any fear here in the Ukraine.
We are here now in Chernivtsi for the second round of the Sidecar World Championship. Very nice to be here again. I was here 4 years ago for MX3 races. Now we are back with the Sidecar, so very happy to be here. It's quite busy. We have 14 races this year. We are happy to have these 14 races, and we will try to keep this also for the next years. And yeah, it is busy. It's 8 months of work, and but I'm really happy. It's very good to be here and have this championship like it is now. We have seen in the years with MX, when we put the race director in, also in Supermoto, in MX3 in the past, and now here, it is very positive. The riders are very positive for this. You know, we are in all races. We do always the same procedure and things like that. So now the rider can approach to somebody. So it's very positive for everybody.
Qualification always follows time practice in the World Championships, and here in Chernivtsi it was no exception. A total of 23 crews lined up on the starting grid for this qualification as they race for the best starting position for Sunday's race for points. The greatly experienced Daniel Williamson reacted best, taking the lead with his partner Robbie Bax, Marvin van Luchen and Harold Kerpenex. With the number 11 plate, a Belgian-Latvian crew fell in just behind them in second place, and in third place it was Valentin Giroux and Alvin Musinex. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset followed them in fourth. Well, the leading positions were firmly filled by the race favourites, and at the head of those, Daniel Williamson. It wasn't long before Valentin Giroux got ahead of Marvin van Luchen, and it didn't take long for the Belgian pilot to fall back one more spot after that too. The great applause of the large crowd, Daniel Williamson held the lead, a rider who's immensely popular here. There are a few racetracks where Williamson has not won over his brilliant career, and he knows all too well what it's like to win here in Chernivtsi. Williamson is simply a living legend of this sport, who is always hugely popular. His lead in this qualification, however, began to shake on its foundations because the blisteringly fast Frenchman, Valentin Giroux, had not given it up. Giroux is clearly hungry for success this year after 2016's mediocre season, and you can see it in every one of his race runs. This qualification race was no different, and it wasn't long before the French-Latvian crew of Giroux and Musinex succeeded in their quest of passing Williamson and Bax for the lead. Valentin Giroux led, followed by Daniel Williamson in second, with Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset in third. This pair is also extremely ambitious, and as you can see, Bax and Mousset shortly thereafter moved in front of Daniel Williamson and his passenger Robbie Bax, who were going backwards. Williamson now down to third place. In second place were Bax and Mousset, with Giroux and Musinex starting to form a substantial lead over the rest of the pack. The first three positions were practically decided. Nevertheless, a major battle raged over fourth place. That's because 7 crews formed a tight group where they were literally glued to one another as we witnessed some great moments in sidecar motocross. Fighting to the head of this huge cluster were the experienced Brits Stuart Brown and Joe Millard, who passed the Belgians Sanders and Soyens, with Christophe Santemans and Loris Dieders clinging onto them just behind. While Stuart Brown is one of the most experienced riders in the entire field, and here in Chernivtsi he was using all that experience to good measure. Brown fought strongly against the Belgian Van Luchen, both of whom exchanged positions several times, with Van Luchen running a good race after enjoying a good start. Brown, however, bravely fought a way to fight past the Belgian competitor to take over fourth place. These two crews broke away from the chasing group and settled into their own race rhythm, the qualification race running 20 minutes and 2 laps. Settling into a 5-second lead were leaders Valentin Giroux and Elvis Musinex. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset were holding on to second. Well, it was Giraud who beat Bax to the win, with Daniel Williamson following in second place and Robbie Bax coming home in third. It was Stuart Brown and Joe Millard who secured fourth place. They were 3 seconds ahead of Marvin van Lucien and Harold Kerpenack. Pay special attention to how close it was between the first 10 finishers. As we mentioned at the start, the city of Chernivtsi has a very rich history, and in a way this also applies to the history of sidecar motocross and motocross. Both these sports have a long tradition in this area, and as we can see in these archive materials. Today's racetrack has been here for around a quarter of a century, but the first sidecar motocross and motocross events started here much earlier. The locals, and not only those from the ranks of the organisers, are therefore rightfully proud of their racetrack. And the fact that this is a truly top-notch complex is cemented by the amount of high-caliber events here, such as the World and European Championships. Time to return to the present and enjoy more moments from the 2017 World Championships. There's certainly no doubting the sophisticated nature of contemporary world sidecar motocross. And our TV crew have the great pleasure to be able to bring you this undoubtedly high quality sport full of warriors. Sunday in Chernivtsi, a day where the 23 best crews fight for the final World Championship points. While also attending the opening ceremony was the Ukraine's Minister of Youth and Sport, Ihor Zazanov. You know that presently our country is not in an ideal situation. You certainly know that in the east of the country, we are fighting for the independence of the Ukraine. That's another reason why we are truly happy to hold such a quality sporting event in a peaceful part of our country. And it's not just about sidecar motocross or motocross. We endeavour to hold other sports events on an international level. As I said, things are not so easy right now, so we experience true joy from each sporting event that we are successful in organising. Besides these motor races, we also have this year in the Ukraine the European Boxing Championships and other fascinating events at the highest calibre. A smaller starting field made it to the Ukraine as opposed to the first round in Holland, but practically all of the racing elite of the World Championships were in attendance, and those who did come received a warm welcome from the home crowd, who were, we must say, unbelievably enthusiastic. The riders and their passengers were extremely popular and handed out a myriad of autographs to their enthusiastic fans. But now, let's see the very best from the qualification.
We don't find a good seeking at the beginning of Saturday, but for the race we fixed the seating with the bike, and it was okay. The start was not so perfect for me, but I quickly take the lead of the heat, and yeah, just try to drive like I want to do and make a small gap. I don't think I push hard on the race. Just try to keep the gap till the end of the race. I think I have some reserve for today and can be the same race.
Valentin Giroud was his usual confident self, but we went to talk to another ambitious rider, Etienne Bax.
Yesterday qualification, we had a solid start, not so good, and placed 4-5, I think. And we climb up in a couple laps till position 2. But like I said before already, the time difference is very small. And yesterday we was with 3 guys in half a second. So the gap between us and Giroud was already 7-8 seconds. We came back till 4 seconds, but we could not pass him. And yeah, I hate it because I like to win everything. First training, second training. I like to win all weekend. But yeah, it is what it is. And for us, second place position is good for the gate. And the temperature is hot today. It's strange weather. It's big pressure. And yeah, hopefully we can do good today and try to win a GP. I have a good feeling about it. The teamwork was good, and I think we can make it happen if everything goes as planned.
Fascinating insight from the first 2 in the World Championship just before the start of the second final of the season. Sidecar motocross, the start is always a key moment, proven once again here in Chernivtsi. Once again, it was the Dutch team of Daniel Williamson and Robbie Bax who took the lead, with Belgians Davy Sanders and Edouard Soyens slotting in right behind. Being at the front is always a huge advantage, as Daniel Williamson knows only too well. Daniel Williamson and Robbie Bax on the WSP machine with a Zabel engine begin to pull away from their competitors, but the fight for second place was intensely dramatic. World champion many times over, Daniel Williamson now creating a huge lead over the first lap. Holding on to second place were Sanders and Soyens, with Brown and Millard maintaining third. Just then came the dramatic moment when Etienne Bax erred slightly when braking. Then came the wild fall of not only passenger Nicolas Mousset, but also Etienne Bax himself. As we take another look, Nicolas Mousset left the sidecar in dramatic fashion, and only thanks to the quick reactions of the Czech brothers, the Cermaks, was an unpleasant collision avoided. Bax and Mousset, however, don't give up just like that. And sidecar number 82 back after its wild accident and pushing on. On a crew enjoying a fight earlier on due to a bad starting position, Valentin Giroud and Elvis Mucinex. Their fight from the rear simply breathtaking, and Giroud in only a few laps was able to fight from 11th up to 3rd. And after all that hard work, another problem came along. The crew's Husqvarna engine shutting down, causing them to fall right back. The only one of the trio of favourites experiencing no troubles at all was the leader Daniel Williamson, who continued to maintain his clear lead. Second place belonged to the British duo of Stuart Brown and Joe Millard. Valentin Giroud got his motor started again, and so began his climb back up the order. Also fighting back were Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. They managed to move up from last place to 7th. Well, the fact that sidecar motocross is a sport of hard men was proven by the Czech brothers Thomas and Andre Cermak. That's because Andre had suffered a rather unpleasant injury during the Saturday qualification, but the crew entered Sunday's race nevertheless. Well, the Cermak brothers fought their way up into the top 5 and right into the middle of a large battle between Santemans and Diders, Wilkinson and Chamberlain, and Hermans and Van Halen. Also joining that gaggle late on was Van Lucien and Kerpenax. Valentijn Giroux and Elvis Musinax for the second race in a row, having to feverishly pass one competitor after another as they move their way back up the order. As the laps ticked down, Giroux was able to pass Thomas Cermak, taking over 4th place. But they were not satisfied with this as they continued on their dogged effort. It wasn't long before they were behind Belgians Davy Sanders and Edouard Soyens. They easily managed to pass the Belgian pair, and Valentijn Giroux was definitely the fastest man in the race. Also enjoying themselves were Daniel Williamson and Robbie Bax. They were out front, earning the win with a 13-second lead. Well, over the last lap, Valentijn Giroux fought his way up to 2nd place, and he was followed home in 3rd by Stuart Brown. Well, the first race of the 2nd round here in the Ukraine didn't disappoint, with plenty of action from start to finish, the true nature of sidecar motocross. Out front, however, it was a special performance by Daniel Williamson and Robbie Bax. Just missing out on the podium were the Cermak brothers, with Latvians Jānis Diders and Kasper Stupelis coming home in 5th. But Daniel Williamson once again proved his worth, and Etienne Bax once again ran a fantastic race to catch up. Valentijn Giroux took 2nd place from Stuart Brown on the last lap, but Brown showed no signs of sadness.
We had a good start. After we got past Sanders, it was a bit of a lonely race really, and towards the end I could see the Frenchman catching, and the pace wasn't there, and he was stronger than us, so yeah, that's how it goes.
Well, Brown was obviously thinking of Valentijn Giroux and his Latvian passenger Elvin Musinax.
We a little bit struggled with the start, and then we, I think, get place in first lap, place 12, something like that. It was not so easy to pass, but we tried to keep in the speed. And then I think couple laps later we put in ourselves in good position to go further to the place top 3. But then before the jump we stole the engine, and I think was the engine stop, go out, and we don't see the first moment the problem what's happening. And then suddenly I see that, and I say to Valentin, we put fast back. Yeah, of course, then we lose again everything. I think we start again, place not good position. Yeah, but we not give up, and we try to get a better position every lap, and was not that easiest one because we a little bit struggle with the bike. But now I think we find a good setting again from second heat, and then we charge till the last lap. And I think we did it, but Valentin was pushing hard, but we tried to not make some mistakes. We tried to make fun on the bike. If the bike was a little bit running better, I think we make more fun, but still second heat, still season is long. But the Daniel was quite far away. But we're looking forward for the second heat, and I hope we can make a little bit better start, and then I think we put ourselves in better position to fight the top 3 again.
At the start of the second race, it was the Belgian-Latvian crew of Van Lucien and Harold Kupinex who capitalised. The Latvian team of Jānis Diders and Kasper Stupilis fought their way to second place in the second turn, and Daniel Williamson and passenger Robbie Bax settled into third. Shortly after that, Williamson got ahead of Dieders to take second, only to start hounding down on the lead duo, Van Lucien and Kupenex. We're watching a battle of the number ones. Van Lucien with the 11 plate and Williamson with the 111. The Belgian rider enjoyed fantastic starts all weekend, and the final one was no exception. Holding on to third place was Latvian Jānis Dieders, who also started off fantastically, as opposed to the other two favourites. Neither Etienne Bax nor Valentin Giroud got off to a decent start at all. Meanwhile, out front, it was a real battle for the lead position between Marvin Van Lucien and Daniel Williamson. It was Van Lucien who continued to fend off Williamson, however, with Jānis Dieders in third and Etienne Bax in fourth. It wasn't long before Daniel Williamson began his attack, and the race had a new leader. Daniel Williamson hit the front, and falling to second was Marvin Van Lucien. Jānis Dieders still in third, with Etienne Bax and Brett Wilkinson in fourth. Would Williamson have it all his own way, or would Van Lucien come back? I think the 30-minute race in 2 laps was only just beginning. The Chernivtsi track is one of Williamson's favourites, and the experienced rider, who happened to be celebrating his birthday on this race day, made that fact all too clear to his competitors. Meanwhile, Etienne Bax was up to second, and he was presenting a certain threat to Williamson. Bax with great speed, but one could expect that it wouldn't be long before he'd be attacking the leader. Third place at this time was held by Marvin Van Lucien, who was out there all alone, behind whom a rumble was raging for the next positions. This group of followers was led by Brett Wilkinson. Well, just as the race looked to be settling down, it was disaster out front as the leader, Daniel Williamson, found himself in trouble when his sidecar engine went kaput. Taking advantage of this situation was not only Etienne Bax, but also the other crews that easily passed Williamson. These included Van Lucien and Kupenex, and Wilkinson and Chamberlain. Well, Daniel Williamson was able to restart his engine, but by then he had fallen to fourth place behind Brett Wilkinson. The British crew, Wilkinson and Chamberlain, just a moment later took over second place, with the Belgium-Latvian duo Van Lucien Kupenex right on their heels. Breathing down their necks were Daniel Williamson and Robbie Bax recovering. If that wasn't enough, Valentin Giroud and Elvis Mucinex now held fifth place, having come from well behind. Once again, we were witnessing amazing battles between several crews all at once. Marvin Van Lucien bravely fought his way up to third place, but a battle raged on behind him. Meanwhile, Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, the lead crew of the World Championships, were working on what had become a huge lead. Meanwhile, changes in positions behind when Marvin Van Lucien and Harold Kupenex began falling off the pace. Valentin Giroud with his passenger Elvis Mucinex getting ahead of them. Not to be confused, they were wearing a different coloured jersey for the second race, but that did not slow them down, and Giroud once again showed everyone his amazing speed. Well, it was an interesting battle between the trio Wilkinson, Chamberlain, Williamson and Bax, Brown and Millard. It was a fight for third place, which ultimately decided on the overall winner of this second stage of the World Championship. Well, Williamson realised this all too well, and he wanted to celebrate his 42nd birthday in style. If Williamson came home in fourth in this second race, he would not become the overall winner. The most successful in sidecar motocross history is a true fighter, and he fought like a lion to secure third place in points. While Stuart Brown, another experienced veteran, hadn't read the script and he decided to make things unpleasant for Williamson, Brown clawed his way up to fourth place and still wanted more. Williamson was able to resist the attacks by Brown and succeeded in defending his third position. Stuart Brown and Joe Millard came home in 4th, 4 seconds behind third place Vinna Williamson. Giroux and Musinex came in safely in 2nd, but Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset became the clear winners of the 2nd race. After 2 stages of the 27 World Championship, Bax and Mousset were able to stay at the top of the points, but Giroux and Musinex are only 3 points behind them. Brown and Millard are currently in 3rd. Well, the season has merely begun. Well, thanks to winning the 2nd race here, Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset fought their way to 3rd overall in Chernivtsi, despite having experienced an unpleasant and painful fall in the 1st race. Sidecar motocross riders can handle a lot, proof of which was Bax's victory in the very next race.
It was a little bit of a stress day for us today because after the crash in the 1st race, we both hurt ourselves a little bit, but we could manage to win the 2nd race, and it's great. The fans are great, the people are wonderful. It's a wonderful day, and to win the 2nd race was good for us because we could keep the red plate. And we had some problems in the race because the handlebar of him was broken. So we need to not slow down, but we need to watch what to do. And luckily we could win the race and take 25 points.
Nicola, first question: are you okay after the 1st race?
Yeah, a little bit pain in my back. I have taken a stone in my hand and go out. The 2nd hit was super. Attack, and the speed is here and super good.
2nd in Alderbrook, 2nd in Chernivtsi, and 2nd in the World Championship standings, Valentin Giroux and Elvis Musinex.
Yeah, feeling is good today. Just lose our start, but we make 2 times 2nd place. Then we make the job for the championship. We are now 3 points behind the leader, and that's good GP for us. No, I'm satisfied because the season is on. There are 14 GP. We only drive 2 GP. When you stay on the podium, that's always good. I'm happy.
Understandably happy with his overall win here in the Ukraine, Daniel Williamson.
The people remember me from the last years, and the fans in Ukraine, they are incredible here. It is so crowded and good, and the fans. And today is my birthday, and we win the Grand Prix. So this is the maximum in feeling what you're gonna have. Yes.
What a fresh-faced 42-year-old Daniel Williamson. And with those words, we bid you farewell from the Ukrainian city of Chernivtsi. The 2nd stage in the World Championship also showed incredible robustness, only affirming the high sporting level of this championship. The season is gaining momentum, and this weekend we head out to the next stage on the calendar. Sidecar motocross riders will be fighting for the 3rd round of points in the Czech Republic. We head to Kremlin. So thank you for watching. See you soon.